All right, we live. We live. Urban AI strategic thinking media platform. We're gonna get into something a little bit different today, man. Now, if you know me, you know I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but I do gotta say this, man. The last week or so, the last 2 weeks, a lot of weird stuff been happening. You know what I'm saying? I did some research, looked into a couple of things. And this whole Microsoft CrowdStrike situation is looking kind of funny. All right. Now, usually when things like this happen, we got two types of people. We got people who have a practical explanation for why things is happening. And then we have the people who are on the conspiracy theory side and their views are a little bit more out there. All right. I've come to embrace both sides. I've come to research both sides. But more importantly, I've come to learn from both sides. All right. All the crazy conspiracy theory people, you can learn from them. You know what I'm saying? If you're more of a practical thinker, um, you can learn from them. If you're more of a rational thinker, you can learn from people who have those kind of conspiracy theory views on especially things that happen on a wide scale, something like this that's global. You know what I'm saying? If you can see, if y'all can read that on the screen, it says a cyber attack with COVID-like characteristics. Now, I know what y'all gonna say. I know what y'all gonna say. CrowdStrike CEO. And if you don't know what CrowdStrike is, we're gonna talk about all that. You're gonna know everything by the time this video is over. It's only gonna be about 30 minutes. You're gonna know what CrowdStrike is. You're gonna know everything that went on. But to make just to compress it a little bit before I really get into it, CrowdStrike is a cybersecurity company. All right. A couple of things is gonna happen from this. Number one, they stock is falling. All right. I know that because I have CrowdStrike stock. I've had it for probably 4 or 5 months. Okay. I heard about it through Nancy Pelosi. If y'all don't know, it's an app called Autopilot, not to be confused with Copilot, the AI that I use to run to help uh, host this show. It's an app called Autopilot. All right, go to Autopilot, download Autopilot, and you're gonna see it shows you politicians' portfolios. It shows you what they invest in their money in. Not only does it show you what they invest in their money in, it shows you how much they're investing. All right. And the politicians that I followed, Nancy Pelosi being one of them, all of them had CrowdStrike. All of them. Nancy Pelosi, Bernie Sanders, a couple of other people who I'm not familiar with. All their portfolio had that little eagle in it, that little white and red logo. They all had CrowdStrike. All right, so I went to Robinhood. I seen CrowdStrike. It wasn't extremely expensive. I was like, okay, let me put a couple $100 in here. Now, this is months ago. Ever since then, I've been putting money in it every week. But this was probably like 4 or 5 months ago. This was at the beginning of the year. So, boom. Now we hear about CrowdStrike is the reason for the cyber attack. Some people are saying that CrowdStrike and Microsoft are competitors. They're not, y'all. CrowdStrike works with Microsoft. Of course, they sell some of the same services. Of course, they sell some of the same services, yes, but they're not directly in competition. All right. Microsoft does, I think, a little bit more than what CrowdStrike do. Okay, CrowdStrike is mainly cybersecurity. So before I get into any of the technical stuff, right? Because we're gonna get there. I'm gonna show y'all two explanations of the type of people that are here during this whole or the type of the type of the way that people think, especially people in this country. All right, the way that people in this country think. I'm gonna show y'all one video Where is that? I'm gonna show y'all one video. Damn, that shit gone. I gotta find it. I'm gonna show y'all one video of. No, here you go. Here you go. I'm gonna show y'all one video of a female explaining what she thinks happened. This is more of a practical thinker. And then I'm gonna show y'all the video of another guy saying what he thinks happened. Okay. This is more of a conspiracy theory type of situation. But I want to let y'all know the main reason that I'm showing both of these videos, regardless of which one you agree with, we can learn from both of these points of views. All right. We got to pay attention because technology is very important. And we as Americans, we're dependent on it too much. When things like this happen, we got to understand that. We got to understand two things, right? We got to understand, number one, we're dependent on technology too much. We're dependent on computers too much. Number two, we need to learn more about them. Now, I know you probably thinking, well, if we depend on it too much, why would we need to learn more about it? If you don't really understand what happened on Friday, if you don't understand a little bit of the technical stuff, you might want to start. You might want to start learning about cybersecurity. That don't mean you gotta go to Princeton or MIT or Georgia Tech and none of that. You don't gotta take no classes or no courses or none of that. Just watch a couple videos. Even with this situation, just watch a couple videos. Because this is something that's very important. This is something that it can happen at any time. That's basically what I'm trying to say. It can happen at any time, and you need to understand what's going on so you can't be lied to. Do y'all understand that? You need to know what's going on a technical level so you can't be lied to. If people are telling you CrowdStrike is saying it was an update error, we have other people saying it was a cyber attack and they're trying to cover it up. If you don't know nothing about what's going on, you basically just going to be left out there to believe whatever people say, unless you understand the technicalities of a computer and cybersecurity to some extent. All right, that's number one. And number two, like I said, we depend on technology a little too much. We have to learn to start going without technology and going without our phones and being okay without technology. The number three thing that I want to say is there will continue when things like this happen. And it's not going to happen in the next year or so, but in the future, as things like this continue to happen. Now, I'm not hoping they do. I don't wish they do. But if they do, the need for jobs in IT and people having knowledge and skills in IT, they're going to pay more. The bar is going to be lowered as far as the requirements. Okay, so you're not going to have no fancy degree to get in IT. You really only need certifications now, something that I've personally been procrastinating with, but I'm still working on it. But the days of you needing a fancy degree, there it's going to be done. That's not going to be the case no longer. And also, remote jobs are going to be more valued. All right. This 9 to 5 doing manual labor, sweating, that's gonna start to dissipate a little bit. And it already has some, we see that. But the more things like this happen, I guarantee you, Microsoft, CrowdStrike, I guarantee you they wish they had more people during times like this. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And the fourth thing is Microsoft, CrowdStrike, we're going to look at their stocks in a few. They're going to drop. Me personally, what I would tell anybody who don't have any CrowdStrike, Stock, get more. I have some. I have over a couple shares. I'm going to get more. I'm going to get more because it's going to drop because of this, but it's going to go back up. Microsoft, I haven't looked at their chart as much. I don't look at Microsoft chart as much. I have a little bit of Microsoft, not as much as I have CrowdStrike, but I'm going to get more CrowdStrike. But the point of that is this is an opportunity to get a discount on a company that we know is not going out of business. All right. They're gonna want to come back bigger and better than ever after this. AI is not going nowhere. But enough of me. This girl does a good job. Now, this is the practical explanation of the Microsoft outage. This is the practical explanation. All right. We're going to get into the conspiracy and how this is related to the whole Donald Trump thing. But this is the practical explanation of what happened with Microsoft.
Let's talk about the Microsoft outage. So, CrowdStrike is a cybersecurity platform, cloud-based cybersecurity platform, and they have something called a Falcon sensor. And essentially, CrowdStrike's purpose is to stop hacking, cyber breaches, cyber attacks, things like that. Right? There was a compatibility issue between CrowdStrike's Falcon sensor and an update on Microsoft. And what that happened was it caused a break between backend storage and compute disconnect. That disconnect affected downstream systems. The way to understand downstream systems is to think of anything that responds to or receives information from the upstream and can respond to information sent from the upstream. Typically, this is easiest to understand between front end and back end systems. If I go online to purchase a plane ticket and I log in, what I'm seeing on the web page is the UX and the UI. The user interface is the UI, the user experience is the UX. I never see the back end, right? So if I'm online and I say, I want to go to Bora Bora, well, I'm looking for flights for Bora Bora. What I'm doing is throwing a call out through an API, which you can think of as a door or a gateway to the back end. So I say Bora Bora, and the system says, let me take it through the gate, bring it to the back end master, and say, hey, this girl wants to see Bora Bora, give her Bora Bora. So the back end sends it back, which goes back to what I said earlier for the front end receiving the information or responding to, right? Now, there's a term in computers in development called microservices. Essentially, if you think about an application as a pie, the entire pie, one pie would be a monolithic pie. It's one pie, monolithic application. This is something that's done in older development and maybe still in services or practices that have not been updated. But what that means is if I want to change the pie, I have to change the entire pie. I've already baked this application, and now to make updates to the application, every single piece of the application has to shut down for me to make updates. What companies have done to combat that is create microservices. Now we have slices within the pie. We might have 8, 16, whatever slices, where I can update one slice and it doesn't have to stop the entire pie from being eaten. You can have your slice. I just need to update my slice. I guess maybe a pizza would be better because maybe I want Parmesan. So I need to add Parmesan to my slice, but I don't have to add Parmesan to your slice. That is microservices. Heavy computation tends to be done in the back end. Smaller calculations can be done on the front end, but most of the heavy end happens in the back end, right? So what happens when the back end storage cannot communicate with the computation? CrowdStrike has already issued a fix for this problem, so everything should be running as normal. However, back end to front end, it might take a while for that to get to all of those services. If you've ever heard of Microsoft 365, you know how many options you have in there, how many applications? It affected all of that. So globally, I keep seeing things that are like in the United States. No, this is across the globe. There are problems. Airlines have had to ground their flights. Airlines. I'm not just saying one city. I'm saying airlines. 911 emergency services does not work in Alaska. I'm not sure if there are other spots right now, but it does not work in Alaska. So they've provided the people in Alaska with alternate methods to get a hold of emergency services if they have an emergency. Several banks are down. From like the smallest example, I tried to fill my truck up with gas this morning. The gas station was down. They said cash only, we can't help you. I think there's going to be news about this that blows it out of proportion. It's not a cyber attack. It's not a cybersecurity thing. It's not a threat, anything like that. I think the important thing to note here and the important thing to take away is that computers have such a heavy impact and they're so heavily involved in our day-to-day life that there needs to be a backup. Again, they have already fixed the issue, but what do you personally have as a backup if you're not able to respond or not able to get these things? if you can't get gas and you need gas, what are you going to do? This is going to sound voodoo prepper of me, but I always think as soon as you hit half a tank of gas, fill that thing up because you never know when you might need it. And honestly, living in Wyoming has taught me that in the winter. If I were to spin off the road, I need gas to keep me warm in my car until I can get help. You should also have cash on hand just in case. If you don't have cash on hand, like this morning, for example, I was not able to get gas at that gas station because I didn't have cash. I went to another gas station, I got gas, and I got cash. I think overall this is really interesting, and I think it'll also be really interesting to see the way this shakes out. If you have any questions or I could explain anything further, let me know. This is obviously very high level. I can't go into depth because of the time limits and stuff, but I'd love to talk computers.
All right, so that's more of a practical explanation. Now, y'all heard her say it's not a cybersecurity attack. Nothing weird is going on. It was just a error in the programming on the back end of CrowdStrike. Okay, not everybody feels that way. Some people feel like this was intentional, or it was a cyber attack. It was something a little bit more sinister that Microsoft and CrowdStrike are in cahoots to cover up. All right, now that was one point of view. Let's listen to this guy's point of view. Now, he doesn't talk as long, but he has some good points as well. Let's hear what he got to say.
Let's say you were trying to cover up an attempted presidential assassination, right? A plot that was so extensive that it required different entities from different alphabet agencies. It consisted of a network of people committing a coup. Let's say that failed. And after the failure, it's getting a little hot, right? You need to cover your tracks. But you need to break into not just one, not just two. You need to break into maybe five, six different governmental agencies, whatever it may be. Um, how would you do that? Wouldn't it be an amazing, just happenstance, coincidence that a company that was hired by the Democratic National Committee to investigate Russian collusion in 2016 is the same company that all of these governmental agencies use? It's not just the airports being affected. Any company that uses this program in Microsoft Windows is affected. Uh, and there are, you can read articles, the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, these companies are affected. So now this company gets to go in to all of these servers and update the code. I think it would be a very good optimal time to cover your tracks. So just rambling thoughts.
All right, now he's saying that that's random thoughts. I'm not sure if it is, because I seen that more, or I've seen that point of view, um, from more people than just him. I've seen that point of view from more people than just him. So a few people think that. Okay, so let's just see. Let me see. Where is it at? Now, what he was talking about with CrowdStrike, okay, why he was connecting it to Donald Trump is, let's see exactly when this was. It's all connected. Donald Trump was right about everything. Here's Donald Trump calling into Fox News, warning of Microsoft CrowdStrike. Trump would say Hillary Clinton paid for it and the Democrats. A lot of it had to do, they say, with Ukraine. It's very interesting. They have the server, and we're going to hear him say this, so I'm not going to read it, but I'm trying to see if I can see what year this is. Okay, I'm not sure. This was when Donald Trump was a president, so I'm not sure what actual year this was, but this is when Donald Trump was the president. He called into Fox News during the whole Hillary Clinton thing when they accused him of collusion with Russia, and he accused them of some stuff with Ukraine. When he called in, and this was years ago, obviously, like I said, it's when Donald Trump was the president. So this was 2, 3, 4 years ago. It was more than two. It was 3 or 4 years ago. This is what he said on the news.
Hillary Clinton paid for it, and the Democrats. A lot of it had to do, they say, with Ukraine.
But Mr. President,
it's very interesting. It's very interesting. They have the server, right, from the DNC, Democratic National Committee.
who has the server?
Now, the FBI went in and they told him, "Get out of here! You're not getting. We're not giving it to you." They gave the server to CrowdStrike or whatever it's called, which is a company owned by a very wealthy Ukrainian. And I still want to see that server. You know, the FBI has never gotten that server. That's a big part of this whole thing. Why did they give it to a Ukrainian company?
Are you sure they did that?
Yeah.
Are you sure they gave it to Ukraine?
No, that's what the word is. And that's what I asked actually in my phone call, if you know.
Right.
I mean, I asked it very point blank because we're looking for corruption. There's tremendous corruption. We're looking for, why should we be giving hundreds of millions of dollars to countries when there's this kind of corruption? Hillary Clinton paid for it, and the Democrats. A lot of it had to do, they say, with Ukraine.
But Mr.
It's
President,
very interesting. It's very interesting. They have the server, right, from the DNC, Democratic National Committee.
who has the server?
Now, the FBI went in and they told him, "Get out of here! You're not getting. We're not giving it to you." They gave the server to CrowdStrike or whatever it's called, which is a company owned by a very wealthy Ukrainian. And I still want to see that server. You know, the FBI has never gotten that server. That's a big part of this whole thing. Why did they give it to a Ukrainian company?
Are you sure they did that?
Yeah.
Are you sure they gave it to Ukraine?
No, that's what the word is. And that's what I asked actually in my phone call, if you know.
Right.
I mean, I asked it very point blank because we're looking for corruption. There's tremendous corruption. We're looking for, why should we be giving hundreds of millions of dollars to countries when there's this kind of corruption?
Okay, so what Donald Trump was alluding to there is Democrats, people from the Democratic National Party or the Democratic National Committee or whatever, gave a server that he felt had incriminating evidence about them. They had wrongdoings, whether it be with Ukraine or inside the Democratic Party members themselves. The FBI came to collect the server. They gave the server over to CrowdStrike instead of the FBI. How they're able to do that, I'm not sure. I don't know. I didn't know if the FBI came to get something. You could just be like, nah, I'm going to give it to somebody. I'm going to give it to my mom, or I'm going to give it to my homie, or I'm going to give it, I didn't know you could do that. I thought if the FBI wanted something, they got it. However, these are powerful people. So they know, they politicians, they know the law, much more, in depth, and they have a more intimate knowledge of the law than the average citizen. So I can't really compare that to what an average citizen would do or what a regular person could do. However, do y'all get where I'm going? Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Donald Trump already accused the company CrowdStrike of doing some bullshit years ago. So if there was some type of, if a tech company did have a reason to do something to him or to even help the cover up of something being done to him, it would be CrowdStrike. I'm not saying that's the case. I hope it's not CrowdStrike. I have money in CrowdStrike. So I hope they on the up and up. I hope they continue to make money. It is a coincidence, though. Like the dude said, it is somewhat of a coincidence. If I believe this, I would sell my stock. I would sell my CrowdStrike stock. I'm not, though, because I don't believe it. However, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's important that we learn from these things, okay? And we pay attention, because these people are paying attention. You feel me? They paying attention. We need to pay attention to. This is what my platform is about. That's why it's called Urban AI. I didn't call it Urban Artificial Intelligence for no reason. That's why I go over stocks. That's why I talk about technology, because it's important to pay attention to. All right. Now, speaking of that, let's go to Copilot right now. We done got their view. We done got the practical explanation, and we've also gotten the more of the explanation that's a little bit far left. It's out in left field a little bit, and it's nothing wrong with that. We need all the information that we can get when it comes to things like this. I use all the information that I can get because I love getting information and I love understanding things. I feel like that's very important. It's very important to understand things and not let people decide for you. Okay. Black people, especially, we tend to let people decide things for us. And I don't like that. I learned in my 20s, late 20s, you know what I'm saying, mid to late 20s, that you can't let people decide things for you. You got to find the information for yourself. All right. So what happened to Microsoft on Friday? We're gonna ask Copilot because we done got two human versions of what they think happened. Now let's go to Copilot and see what Copilot said.
Today, there was a Windows outage caused by a defect in a single content update for Windows hosts. This issue affected some users, leading to blue screens on Windows PCs. However, it's important to note that this was not a security incident or cyber attack. The cybersecurity company CrowdStrike was involved in addressing the issue, and they've already deployed a fix. On a positive note, Microsoft recently announced its quarterly dividend and is also working to help rural hospitals defend against rising cybersecurity attacks. If you're interested in more Microsoft news, you can always check out their official news page.
Okay, now, of course, Microsoft or CrowdStrike is going to say it wasn't a security incident or a cyber attack. Of course, they're going to say that. And Copilot is, at the end of the day, it's just an extremely fast search engine. So, of course, it's going to say that it wasn't a cyber attack. Now, that could be true. That could be true, but this is a strategic thinking media platform. So we're going to look at everything, all right? What is the impact of the Windows outage?
The Windows outage caused blue screens on some Windows PCs due to a defect in a content update. However, it wasn't a security incident or cyber attack. Microsoft swiftly addressed the issue, and cybersecurity company CrowdStrike deployed a fix. For more news, check out Microsoft's official page.
Okay, so you see, they already
Windows outage
got ahead of this. They're saying it's already fixed. We won't really know until Monday. Of course, some of it has been fixed, but tell me more about CrowdStrike.
Certainly. CrowdStrike is a global cybersecurity leader with an advanced cloud-native platform. They protect endpoints, cloud workloads, identities, and data from advanced threats. Their unified platform approach simplifies security, offering complete protection. If you're curious, you can explore more on their official website.
All right, so we know a little bit about CrowdStrike. Again, we're going to look at their stock in a few. They said something about the blue screen of death. Copilot, what is the blue screen of death?
The blue screen of death, BSOD, is an error screen displayed by Microsoft Windows when the operating system encounters a critical condition and can no longer function safely. It's like a digital emergency signal, prompting your PC to restart. In older versions of Windows, it appeared on dark blue screens with detailed text, but in Windows 8 and beyond, it's often simpler and can even be black, green, or red. If you encounter one, don't panic. Your PC isn't fundamentally broken, but something needs fixing.
Okay. What are the common causes of the blue screen of death?
The blue screen of death, BSOD, can occur due to various reasons. Here are some common causes. Hardware malfunctioning, issues with your computer's hardware such as faulty memory or overheating components. Faulty device drivers, poorly written or incompatible drivers can trigger a BSOD. Low-level software errors, problems with software running in the Windows kernel or serious driver errors. Malware, malicious software can disrupt system stability. Incompatible updates, installing updates that clash with existing components. Remember, BSODs are never a pleasant sight, but understanding their causes helps troubleshoot effectively.
There you go, right there. Understanding their causes helps troubleshoot effectively. Y'all, when we don't know what's going on with technology, that gives the government or any officials that are in power, that gives them the ability to lie to us. Okay, they can make things up. Let's just say this was a cyber attack. How would we know? if we don't have knowledge of computers, if we don't have knowledge of software and hardware and how they work together, we're not gonna know. And I'm directing these things that I'm saying to me myself. I need to learn more as well. I'm not just yelling at y'all or voicing my opinion about what y'all should do. I know I say we a lot, but I be meaning me 99% of the time. Unless I say some crazy shit, I'm talking about myself too. I need to learn more as well. Because when all the stuff like this is going on and all these people are hopping on TV, say, oh, it's not a problem, we got it fixed. No, man, I need to know for sure. I need to know for sure. How the fuck I know that you got it fixed? Of course you're gonna say it's fixed. You the CEO of the company. You go, of course, oh, everything's good. It's good. Everything we fixing everything. Of course you're gonna say that, nigga. But I need to learn this so I can know for myself. And that is what I'm gonna be devoting my free time to, is learning and understanding what's going on. Cause I don't like this, man. It was so many things that was down. This just wasn't cool. It just wasn't a cool day. You know, people kind of felt helpless. You know what I'm saying? That's what I seen. I seen a lot of helplessness. Like some people was, you know, taking it light, but we as a country, we deserve more. We already going through enough. We already going through enough. Now we finna wrap this up. But I do want to look at, yeah, man, let's look at CrowdStrike before we go. We got about 10 more minutes. We're going to look at CrowdStrike and we're going to look at Microsoft stock real quick, all right? Because it's going to go up. Now, it did drop. It dropped for sure. But it's going to go up. Look, look. I don't know if y'all can see this. Can y'all see that? Let me see. Oh, yeah, y'all can see. All right, not now. Damn. Oh, yeah, let me just do it this way. All of cybersecurity, except a couple, Datadog. I rock with Datadog heavy. I would suggest everybody looking at Datadog. That's going to be big. That's going to go up. This is CrowdStrike here. This is Broadcom, Cisco. All this stuff dropped, y'all. Everything in cybersecurity dropped. All right. Semiconductors and tech. Let's look at that. Look at that. All that red. Look at all that red. All that red. All that stuff dropped. Now, it's going to go back up. It's going to go back up. Trust me, it's going to go back up. But it's dropped for now. All right, so let's look at CrowdStrike real quick. We're going to go to my green list. This is my portfolio here. Tesla, CrowdStrike, NVIDIA, GameStop, UI. I'll show y'all my shit. Carvana, SoFi, Amazon, Zscaler, UiPath, Photronics. Just, you know, just some light stuff that I rock with. But let's go to CrowdStrike real quick. And I want to bring CrowdStrike up. You see it done dropped 11%. Let's bring this up on a super chart, though. We're going to bring this up on a super chart. Here, let me do this. We're going to bring this up on a super chart. I want y'all to see this before we bounce. Okay, now I do got a lot is going on this. I should have deleted some of the stuff first. I got a whole bunch of indicators. I got my OBV, my CCI, my MACD, my RSI. Y'all don't got to pay attention to none of that. Just this here. Can I move this? Damn. I hope y'all can see that, man, but CrowdStrike has dropped significantly, 11%, all right? It's at 304.96 right now, all right? At the beginning of this week, on the 15th, it was at 377. All right, it was at 377. It reached 388 on the 15th. Okay, and today on the 20th, or yesterday, it ended at 304. Y'all, it's gonna go back up. I'm telling you, it's gonna go back up. All right, let's look at Microsoft. Microsoft has only dropped 0.7%, but it's done took a beating as well. On July 11th, it was around 460. It's 437 today. Listen, man, these are companies that they will rebound from this. Okay. I would suggest, just my personal opinion, a little money every week, every month. Just put it away in there. You don't got to worry about it. When you see days like this, look at all this red. Look at all that red. Go to, I got semiconductors and tech. Look at the red there. Any day you see where it's like this, if you see a big number over here, look, this went down. This dropped 6%, 3%, 5%, 4%. And we're going to go back to my portfolio or cybersecurity. Now we got some green down here at the bottom. But look at that. CrowdStrike dropped 11%. Especially when you see double-digit numbers right here with a highly valued company, and they got double-digit numbers and the percent change in this red, just put a little bit of money in it and get it at a discount. All right. We can't just let politicians and people who already have generational wealth and financial freedom, we just can't let them, take claim to all this technology that's making money. We got to take some of that back. We can't just sit back and watch them do their thing. We have to join in as well. Because how many of y'all use Microsoft? If you using Microsoft, you're helping the CrowdStrike platform too, because you putting money in Microsoft pockets and Microsoft is putting money in CrowdStrike pockets. Do y'all get why that? Do y'all understand what I'm saying by that? And I'm not a teacher. I'm not a financial advisor. That's why. And I'm not, when I say, do y'all understand that? I'm not saying that because I don't think y'all understand what I'm saying. I'm not that great at explaining it. That's why I got Copilot to help me. That's why I watch videos and I let other people explain stuff. But I do know that this stock game and tech is you can damn near grow money if you have the knowledge, if you're willing to learn. And I've been learning for years. I just recently have gotten the money to invest. And it's still really not enough. I'm still working a job. So I got a long way to go. But by the time my son and my nieces are adults, they're going to be good as long as the tech sector stay booming. All right. And I need to integrate myself into that and make sure I have the knowledge. I have to understand tech because I'm a tech investor. My whole portfolio is basically tech. Y'all see it. Tesla, CrowdStrike, Nvidia, GameStop, Photronics, UI, that's tech. Zscaler, that's tech. Carvana, that's kind of tech, but not really. SoFi and Amazon, tech. My whole portfolio is tech. So, but I work in a factory. I'm the one losing. I'm getting a small amount. I need to integrate myself into tech however I can and be learning from the inside out. Okay, now I know this video wasn't really about the Donald Trump assassination attempt. We watched a little bit on it, but this video was mainly about us opening our eyes and understanding that we need to learn about everything that's going on, and we need to understand why it's going on. Ask questions, question everything. You understand what I'm saying? On Monday, Everything better be back straight. And we didn't get into it, but the CEO of CrowdStrike did make a statement. His ass need to make another one Monday. And somebody at Microsoft need to make. I seen a female say something, but y'all need to keep updating us on what's going on. Ask questions and learn about technology. I feel like it's very important. That's just my personal opinion, man. But I'm about to wrap this up. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Like, share, subscribe, help the channel grow. Urban Artificial Intelligence, Strategic Thinking Media Platform. I'll either see y'all tonight or tomorrow with another live, man. I appreciate the love and support. I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Peace.